Hi there, Wayne Duvenage here, and this is our weekly wrap at OUTA. It's the end of July. We're heading into August. The year is rushing by, and it's been an action-packed month, but again, another action-packed week for us at OUTA in this whole space of accountability and seeking redress when it comes to this abuse of power that we find too often in this country. So firstly, on the back of Nkwanazi's revelations and allegations of capture of the criminal justice system and the police and so forth, we have this announcement that there's going to be another commission of inquiry, and now we have court action around that, so let's play out. But what interested us this week was the President's submission of a report on what has happened at the last Commission of Inquiry on State Capture, because on the announcement of the new one, a lot of people are saying, what does it help? Nothing comes of it. We see the last State Capture Commission, nothing's happened. And so they're trying to deflect and trying to say that things are happening. And they've got this report and they come down to 48% of stuff has been done and another certain percentage is underway. Well, quite frankly, that is bumf when you think about it. Of course, we know that some stuff has happened. We know that Molefe and Anosh Singh and others, and Moseben Zizwani, matters are unfolding in court. They've been charged, and a few others. But it's far too few when you look at the grand scheme of things. There are others that are in positions of power in government that were implicated in that report. Nothing has happened to them, Gwede Mantashe being one. Do you think that anything is going to happen there? Why have cases not been opened against him and others, by the way? So it's not enough. And by the way, it's 3 years down the line. It's very late. And on top of that, we don't see meaningful action when it comes to protection of whistleblowers. And then they say that, you know, ABB and McKinsey and SAP have been held accountable and paid a lot of money. Well, quite frankly, that was because of the US Justice Department's actions. Very little of that would have happened had it not been external forces at play here. So this is just really deflection and a bit of a red herring. Not enough has been implemented when it comes to the state capture report on and the recommendations thereof on state capture. So another more developments, by the way, in the OUTA front, specifically on our projects, is obviously on SETAs. A lot happening there. We have written to the minister. We're hoping that he will engage with us, acknowledged our letter, and we are calling for urgent reform there, because the whole sectoral education training authority, the skills development levies, are being plundered, quite frankly. This network throughout the higher education department, and more specifically the SETA still exists. The boards aren't in place. The boards, by the way, should have had their chairpersons and boards appointed in March. We're now in August. And it's crazy that we don't have this yet. So the previous minister, it was very slow. There were wrong lists or manipulated lists. We really need to see action and fast here. Hopefully these boards will be powerful enough to have exercise good oversight. But we put out a very, very strong report on issues around the construction SETA, calling for Malusi Shezi, the CEO, to be fired, suspended, quite frankly, and we see him just removing people left, right and center in construction SETA to get those who stand in the way of of bad governance, who stand in the way of corruption, who stand in the way of tender manipulations, being removed from the system. And that's sad to see that 6 people so far, we believe, on this hit list, so to speak, that is out there from him to have them removed from the organization. Let's see how that transpires, but we certainly urge the minister, new Minister Manamela, to meet with us urgently, and others, by the way. In fact, there's a whole summit that's required when it comes to reviewing and redoing and revamping the whole sector education training system. It is fraught with inefficiencies, with ghost learners, with systems that aren't working, with laws and regulations that aren't fit for purpose. It's time for change there. We will be meeting with Eskom shortly, by the way, to just get ahead on this whole solar requirements issue. We'll be giving you more feedback on that in due course. But there's seriously a problem that we have with these onerous conditions that they're trying to apply through a registration process on people who have installed solar systems. A big development for us, and this is a celebration that we need to acknowledge of from civil society's perspective, is the final closure of the whole Karpowerships chapter. Yes, they've given up their fight a little while ago, but what we went to court for is to have this matter put to bed, because the licenses were still granted to Karpowerships. They hadn't been cancelled, and we needed to make that an order of the court. And that order of the court is that NERSA should never have granted those licenses in the first place, quite frankly. And that's what we achieved today. So it was signed off, and NERSA owes us money. They've got to pay our legal costs on this matter. Thankfully, we were able to stop this whole debacle. Imagine being locked into a 20-year deal with 3 ships anchored in our harbors, selling us 1.2 megawatts of electricity that we didn't need, by the way, that we didn't need at 4 times the price, locked in for 20 years. That would have been a disaster for this country. And this is what civil activism and litigation from civil activism has the power to do, to stop government in its tracks when it tries to introduce irrational, grossly irrational laws and policies and decisions. So thanks to the OUTA team and the legal team for putting up a good case there and eventually swatting this irritation off and out of our lives in South Africa. Just to let you know, shortly we'll be laying delinquent director charges against a prominent person in the city of Johannesburg. We've had success with delinquent director applications in the past, and we are testing this one again. And they are expensive, they take time, but they're very necessary to pass some time. We'll fill you in more of that as time goes on. Just one other thing. We're getting a lot of complaints from people who are stopped at these roadblocks, these traffic roadblocks, and being forced and extorted to pay outstanding traffic fines. Our message simply is this: you do not have to pay your traffic fines at a roadblock. You do not have to. Now, what we're not saying is you don't have to pay your traffic fines. That's not the case. Pay your traffic fines. In fact, don't get traffic fines if you can afford. Just avoid getting traffic fines. Pay your traffic fines that are legitimate. There are a lot of old traffic fines that the Road Traffic Infringement Agency are loading onto people's systems. Go and challenge those. But at a roadblock, be courteous, be nice, be friendly, and just inform the traffic officer you do not have to pay your fines at those traffic. You just say outright, I don't have money on me, I don't have credit cards. So when you give them your license, just don't show them that you have a credit card. Put them away. They cannot search you. They cannot march you over to that payment office, the caravan, and make you pay. But don't be rude. Don't get into a fight. Just be nice. And you can move on. Record the conversation if you can. Switch your phone on. Record. Get the officer's name. Speak to them nicely. But that's your right. Thank you for listening. Have a good weekend. And we'll catch up with you next week. Cheers.